Hi everyone, I am Michael Puentes. Thank you for this invitation and also to be part of this event. Also special thanks to all the people who works in this project. They are all in this slide. And a special thanks to the research group that work with us like City Lab from INSA León and also Supercomputación y Cálculo Científico at BIS in Colombia. I'm going to show you some numbers about AdSense, but the numbers are directly related with a city in Colombia called Bucaramanga. In this city, with a little more of 600,000 population and 102 of area, is one of the biggest city in Colombia. This is one of the important local news in the city and sadly supports the part of our information. And that information is that more than 3,600 accidents since 2018, and that's mean 8 for each 10,000 pedestrians are involved in a vehicular accident in the city. In other words, every day, at least one pedestrian is involved in a vehicular accident in the city. From those numbers of accidents since 2018, more than 700 are non-fatal accidents, but 28 are fatal accidents. That is a critical number. One is a critical number. Also, we can get a cause. This is not our cause. This is an academic paper from UK, but we can extrapolate more or less the information. And the cost for each pedestrian accident is around $10,000 per pedestrian. Looking for a solution to mitigate this problem, to reduce the accident in the city, different research work were reviewed with the same goal. Looking for solution made it difference, identify some causes related, and by reducing these factors, would directly affect the number of the accidents in the city. Among those factors are human factors, environment, architecture, weather, policies implemented, and vehicle failure. We study each one of these solutions, but we have a problem. We have not enough data for many of them. One of the problems of emerging cities, like our city, is the lack of data, and they are not possible to adapt a solution to other researches. But no, all is lost. We are currently, thank you to our project, we are currently have some cameras that record all day in certain sectors in the city. This is an example in the map in the city. This is one example of the camera also. With that information, we can also get extra information about the video with a software who transform the raw video into information using deep learning to identify each object in the record, obtaining information from it, and later manipulating the information to find the possible causes of each accident. This is a video. I'm going to show you how one of the cameras installed in one spot of the city works. In fact, in this sector is the second commune where more accidents are registered in the city. Not every day, but in the whole month. This sector is also a special spot because in this spot where there are no traffic light for control, reduce the accident, and it's in an area of great influx of people where there is a church, in front it is a school, it's a park, and in the other block is a group of houses. And the 1 hour of this example video is an off-peak hour, so different measures are taken in the research to analyze this data. Don't be scared if you can see walking people through the car. For example, that car, the software overlap some objects. The software take a fixed image like the canvas, and everything that moves will take as an object. And thanks to the train model of the software, it's possible to identify each object, if it's a vehicle or man, a woman, an animal, etc. From this information, we can also know the average speed of the vehicle, and for instance, some infraction could be from pedestrians or the vehicle. Also, we can get extra information from the software. For example, we can have the most common path of the pedestrian also in here, but with the direction, which is basically everywhere. Our goal in this work, we propose to use the information taken from the videos and use that information as input of simulation, or in this case, micro simulations. As outcomes of the micro simulation, we give us some conclusions to propose new policies to be implemented in the city, and for instance reduce the numbers of accidents in the places at least where simulations has been done or in the city. About the information of the video, in the hour of video we can get, for example, in this spot of the city, that more than 300 people, pedestrians, are walking through this point per hour. And something extra information is that 17% of those pedestrians are men, and the other 30% are women. About vehicles, more than 600 vehicles, 25% are cars, 64% are motorbikes, motorcycles, 8% are buses, and 2% are bikes. That is the information to create the micro simulation. This is the micro simulation that you can see is carried out with the BikeSim software. With the numbers of the vehicles and the numbers of pedestrians has been taken from the video recordings, and the quantifiable information has been the input to the micro simulation software. This scenario is an ideal case. You can see some vehicles, for example, the pedestrian stop, and right now the vehicles stop when the pedestrians are walking through the street. This scenario for us is ideal. Maybe is the case in Europe, but no in this city. And it's not only me. We made a perception survey for the people, and 31% that the own of the road or the priority have the pedestrian, but 69% thinks in our city that the vehicles have the priority in the road. It's not a specific law who preserve in the city, and no one thinks that bikes sadly are important in the road. So with this information and extra information, according to the spiral diagram, every time that you take information from the real world, you can improve the simulation, and you will be perfection this never-ending task. This is we change some condition under the new condition about the perception of the people in our city. We change the behavior of the pedestrian. You can see the pedestrians walks without any care, and maybe it's not the real life, but in some research works show that the probability of an accident increased by 88% when the pedestrian is aware of his cell phone. So this is maybe 100%, but with the worst condition, we can make some new improve in the city. For example, with the worst condition, the same, we install a speed bump in one side of the road. In the worst condition, where people doesn't care at all, even that we can save some lives of pedestrians in this scenario. The speed reducer could affect the mobility also, but the simulation study shows that no more than, for example, that motorcycle almost stop, reaching 2 kilometers per hour. The speed reducer could affect the mobility, but the simulation study shows that no more than 3 vehicles will line up on the street due to the speed reducer, which will force them to almost stop right now. As a conclusion, installing the speed reducer, one of the changes that we can do in the micro simulation, with the worst conditions, with the same conditions show us, the accident rate in pedestrians can be reduced up by 18%. Although this seems a lot, it's still necessary to add more information for the micro simulation and take into other parts of the city to replicate this experiment. So with this information, with the conclusion, it's been shared with decision makers in the city to create changes that reduce the accident rate for pedestrians in our city. The micro simulation cannot take the whole information of the video. For example, in this video you can see something that calls social force. This motorcycle throws in the driver in front him. In this driver, he throws in him. That's called motorcycle. That is available to pedestrians in the software of microsimulation, but not right now for vehicles. And also we have other things that we current is not possible to reproduce at all. By the way, this is recording, is real, is not played backwards. That is impossible to replicate in our simulation. I want to say a special thanks in this work who support the cameras and the whole information to the Santander Department Government and the University Unidades Tecnológicas de Santander. Also, Centro de Supercomputación, Cálculo Científico, and Qualifree Association, and City Lab, and INSA Lyon. Thank you very much for your attention. I will able to any question.